Concerns are mounting in Seoul that escalating trade frictions with the U.S., including the threat of tariff hikes and the fallout from South Korea's Coupang probe, are jeopardizing critical security talks. As trade pressures mount, the U.S. has yet to confirm the delegation of officials for those discussions. Soo-young has more.
Concerns are growing in Seoul that trade issues with the United States are slowing crucial security negotiations. Last November's Korea-U.S. joint Factsheet tied together economic and security tracks, a $350 billion investment into the U.S., and follow-up talks on nuclear-powered submarines and broader nuclear cooperation, including uranium enrichment and spent fuel reprocessing. Security discussions were expected to begin early this year, with a U.S. delegation to visit Seoul by early March. But President Donald Trump has since threatened to raise reciprocal tariffs on Korean exports from 15% to 25%, pushing Seoul to speed up legislation on implementing U.S. investments. At the same time, tensions have widened to the digital sector, with e-commerce giant Coupang emerging as a flashpoint. Amid a probe into the U.S. company by Korean authorities over its user data leak last year, the U.S. House Judiciary Committee has subpoenaed Coupang Korea's acting head Harold Rogers, with lawmakers accusing Korean authorities of targeted attacks.
So this digital focus is pretty in line, frankly, with the Trump administration's earlier approach to grab a hold of all of these aspects to lean into this America First framing. That's the dynamic that kind of hoists up Trump's overarching trade agenda. And we can see that in this projection of a so-called American company facing discrimination from this foreign power. That's the framing that the Trump administration is leaning into and has far before this Coupang controversy.
Seoul officials say the Coupang issue should be left out of formal government talks. But experts believe the Trump administration will keep raising the issue of non-tariff barriers.
That is something that Jameson Greer and Howard Lutnick and all of these different factions are on the same page about. There's an America First sort of covering through all of this that they're perceiving South Korea and their different trade negotiating partners with that is pretty consistent, while they do take pains to reiterate that the final decision is ultimately up to Trump.
With pressure on the trade track, National Security Advisor Wee Sung-lak has expressed concern that the repercussions are spreading into the security side. In fact, U.S. State Secretary Marco Rubio told Foreign Minister Cho-hyun that the mood in Washington is not good, appearing to hint that tariff issues must ease before security talks proceed. As of Thursday, the Foreign Ministry says the U.S. has not confirmed members of its security delegation. For now, Seoul has sent a working-level trade team to Washington this week. Internally, the government last week launched a temporary task force to coordinate U.S. investment matters and tariff negotiations as Parliament works to pass the U.S. investment bill by early March. Soo-young, Arirang News.